Let's move to our challenge number 5, and this time we need to check the duplicate location tracing records before we insert the new one. So as part of this challenge, we need to create a method called check duplicates, and this method is going to receive a list of location tracing records, which are the new records that we want to insert. And using this new records list, we need to identify the existing duplicate records so that we can inform the end user that you are trying to insert the duplicate records which are not allowed. Implementing this method would be a bit challenging if we compare it to the previous methods that we created in the contact tracing application. So it's better that we write our algorithm first before we write our solution. So here I have noted down all the steps that we'll be performing in this check duplicates method. So first we are going to iterate over this new location traces list so that I can identify the unique location record IDs and unique person record IDs. And we are going to use this unique location and person record IDs in our step 2 to query existing location tracing records. Now using these existing location tracing records, we are going to create a map of location ID and set of person ID. Now the reason behind creating this map is to easily identify the duplicates. So once we construct this map in step number 3 by iterating over the existing location tracing record, in the step 4 we are going to find the duplicates. So what we'll be doing, we are going to iterate over this location tracing records again, and for each of this record we are going to look for a duplicate in the map that we'll create in step number 3. And the step 5 we are going to simply return the list of duplicates. If there are no duplicates, then we are going to return an empty list. Now since we have our algorithm in front of us, it will be easier to develop or write the solution for this method. So we need to go to inside the location tracing controller class, and here I'm going to create a new method called check duplicates, and this is going to return a list of location tracing records, and the name of the method should be check duplicates. And this is going to accept a list of location tracing records which we'll call new location traces. And here we need to write our logic. So I'm going to create two set of IDs here. The first one will store the location ID and the second set will store the person IDs. And the second one will name it as person IDs. Let me put some comment as well. Store Now we are going to iterate over this list so that we can build our set of location IDs and person IDs. I'm going to create a for loop here, and this will be of type location tracing. Let's call our local variable as trace, and we are going to iterate over new location traces list. Now from this trace record, we need to identify the person ID and location ID. So for that I'm going to go back to my Salesforce org, and here let's go to the fields of location tracing object, and here our person ID is stored in person_c field and location ID is stored in location_c field. So we are going to use these fields to build our location IDs and person IDs set. So first we are going to add the location ID. So let's access our location ID set. Let's call our add method, and here we are going to add trace.location_c. Let's do the same thing with the person IDs set as well. So now we have our location IDs and person IDs set. The next step would be to query existing records using this location ID and person ID. So let me comment here. So let's build our SQL query here, and since we are going to write it on the location tracing object, I'm going to build it like select, or maybe we can copy it from here. This can be our dummy SQL query. We are going to modify it as per our condition now. So we are going to query ID, location and person from location tracing object, and here location should be in the location IDs array or set, and person _c should be in person IDs set. Now apart from this, I don't think we have any other condition, so I'm going to remove the rest of the conditions here. So this is our simple SQL query which is going to return us the existing records. So I'm going to store them in a list of location tracing object, and I'm going to call it like existing records. Let me just format my code. Yeah, the next step would be to build a map of location ID and set of person IDs. So this would be our step number 3, and for that we need to iterate over the existing location tracing records. So I'm going to use one more for loop here, but before that let's check if we are able to find any existing record or not. So I'm going to use a if condition, and I'm going to check if location IDs, no, if existing records is not equals to null and existing records dot size is greater than 0, because if we are able to find existing records, then only we can have duplicates. So we need to write our logic within this if clause. So now I'm going to create a for loop, and this time I'm going to iterate over the existing records list. I'm going to name my variable as trace, and here we need to build our map of location ID and set of person IDs. I'm going to declare that map here. So this would be a map of ID comma set of ID. So this is the collection that we are going to use. Let's call it map of existing records. Let's copy this. And in this map we are going to store a location ID and corresponding all the person IDs in this set. So while we are iterating over these existing records, first we need to check if we already have the location ID in our map or not. So I'm going to use if condition here, and I'm going to use my map of existing records, and here I'll try to find, or maybe like I'll use the method contains key, and this method returns true or false based on if it has the particular key or not. So in this map we are going to check for the location ID. So I'll use trace dot location _c. So if this map already has this location ID, then we want to add our person ID to this set. But if it doesn't have the location ID, then we want to first insert this location ID. So I'm going to use not operator here. So this means if the map doesn't have this key, then I'm going to add this key to my map. So I'm going to use the put method, and the key will be trace dot location _c, and the value would be a new set of ID, because each and every item of this map is going to have a ID and set of ID. So that's what we are going to do here. Now since our map is already populated with the ID, we only need to add the value. So in this if condition, even if our map doesn't have the location ID, we are going to add that to our map, and now we need to add the person records in the set of ID. So what I'll do now, I'll simply use my get method. So map of existing records dot get, and when I'll use this get method, I can specify my key, and once you'll do it, now you'll get the value of this particular key. So let's say for an example, my map looks like location ID 1, location 1, and it has some values like person 1, person 2. So when you use this get method, you actually get this set of ID, or you actually get this person 1 and person 2 set. And since you have already got the set, now we can use the add method on the set to add a new value, and our new value would be trace dot person _c, and this way we can populate our map of existing records. So I'm going to comment here, add person ID to map set. So we have built our map of existing records. Now we'll move to our step number 4, which says loop over the new location traces and find the duplicates. So I'm going to use one more for loop here, and this time I'm going to loop over new location tracing records, and here our variable will be of type location tracing, and then let's call our local variable as trace, and the list would be this new location traces. And for each of this location trace record, we can find the duplicate in our map of existing records. So what I'll do, first we need to create a list of duplicate records, a blank list of duplicate records actually. So let's call it list of duplicate records, and this will be like a list of location tracing records. Let's call them duplicates so that we can store our duplicates in this list. And here we are going to add our items in the duplicates list. So what I'll do, first I'll check if the location ID of this trace record already exists in my map or not. If yes, then I'll also try to match the person ID, and if you find a match, then it's a duplicate record. So first check for location ID. If item found in map, then check for person ID in set. So we are going to use if map of existing records contains key, and the key will be trace dot location _c. So we are checking for the location ID. If it has this location key, then we are going to check for the person ID as well in the set. So first we need to get the set. So let's use map of existing records dot get, and here we are going to use trace dot location _c, and this statement right here is going to give us our set of person IDs, and from this person ID set we are going to use a method called contains, and we are going to check for trace dot person _c. So here we are doing the second thing, like if the location ID is found, then check for person ID in the set. So if this statement is also true, then this is a duplicate record. So I'll simply use duplicates dot add, and I'll add this trace record to my duplicates list, and that's it. This is how we can build our duplicate records list. So now in step 5, we simply need to return our list of duplicates. So let's use our return statement here, and let's return duplicates. So this will be our check duplicates method. If you find it hard to understand this method, then go over this logic multiple times. Try to build this logic on your own, and maybe like if you have some other solution in mind, try that solution as well, and then you will understand what we are doing here. We are simply querying the existing records based on the IDs we'll find in this new location tracing records, And from these existing records we are building a map which makes our task easier to find the duplicates. If we do not have this map, then we actually have to use nested for loop to find the duplicate records. But since we already have this map from this for loop, we can easily find our duplicates just by querying the key of map and then checking the person ID in the set which is there inside a map. And in the end, we are simply returning our duplicates list. Now let's deploy our changes to our Salesforce org. So right click on this class and click on deploy this source to org. And our deployment is successful. The next part would be to actually test if this method is working fine or not. And to check this, we need to go back to our developer console. And here first we are going to query our location tracing records so that we can create some duplicate ones. So these are the 4 records in our location tracing object. So now what I'll do, I'll try to copy some of these records and I'll construct a list, and then I'll try to insert these new location tracing records. And since these will be duplicates, we should get the duplicate list in return from our method. So let's create a new location tracing record. Let's call it like trace1. And here person _c would be, let's copy this one, and then let me put it in the new line, and then the location _c, which will be this one. Yeah, so this will be our location tracing record number 1. Let's copy this one more time, and then we are going to create one more record. Let's call it trace number 2. This time we are going to copy the IDs from row number 2 of our search result. And let's copy this code one more time, and this time we are not going to create a duplicate record. Rather we are going to match some arbitrary value. So like I'll try to match this person with maybe this location. So this won't be a duplicate record, and we should not get it in the output of our check duplicates method. Now let's put all of these records in a list. So let's build a list of location tracing records, and let's call it like traces. Paste it here. Let's add all our items in the list. First item would be trace1, second item would be trace2, and third item would be trace3. And now we can pass this list to our check duplicates method. So let's call our location tracing controller class, and let's call the check duplicates method and pass our list of location tracing records. And this will give us back a list of location tracing records which we'll call as duplicates. And then we will try to print this duplicates list. So what we are doing here, we are simply constructing the new location tracing records. 2 of them are duplicate and 1 is unique. So then we are passing this new location tracing records list to our check duplicates method, and then we'll verify if we are getting correct duplicate records or not. Let's execute this code. Let's click on debug only, and here we have found duplicate records. The first one is, I guess, how many are there? Actually, let's try to print the duplicate record size as well. and it says that we have found 3 duplicates. Is it the case? Let me go back to my anonymous window and let's find this person ID. Let's search for it. Okay, we have got this person ID in 2 row and our location ID, which is this one. Oh yeah, it is duplicate as well. So because our row number 3 is our record number 3. So what I'll do, actually I'll try some another pair, maybe this person as ID and then this location as location. And now let's execute our code again. At least our code is working fine because it gave correct result. We had 3 duplicates in our previous code and this time we have got 2 duplicates. So our method is working fine and we are going to use it in the further videos of contact tracing application when we'll be writing some triggers for our application. So this is all in challenge number 5. In the next video we are going to discuss challenge number 6.